Hello YouTube. I'm going to shoot a how to clean your Smith & Wesson MP15 video. So let's get started. Alright, so here are the tools you're going to need. I recommend buying this case here, the Winchester gun cleaning kit. It comes in this nifty box, and it's almost like a flight case, but I definitely recommend getting this because it has everything you need. Has all your brass brushes, has a pick, all the cleaning brushes, rods, the jags, the cleaning swabs, I guess you would call them. Everything's here, the mops, the pads, and it comes with a cleaning cloth, but I would recommend not using that. I would go ahead and just use an old t-shirt. I use an old black t-shirt because it doesn't leave any kind of fibers on any of your metal parts. And I did start using some Q-tips to get into some hard to reach areas. So there's pretty much everything you're going to need, except I recommend this stuff right here. CLP cleaner, lubricant, preservative. Use this stuff. You can use rum oil if you want, but this stuff I've found actually breaks down carbon and also copper deposits inside your barrel. This is some really great stuff. A little bitty can will last you a long time. Okay, now to get started on cleaning your rifle. Now this is how you break it down, just like your regular standard AR-15. So you've got this push pin here, and you've got another push pin here to break it open. You start with this one in the back, and then these are real tight, so you break it open. And then now once you have it broken in two pieces, you pull this push pin over here completely through, and then you lift the top off of the bottom. You set that off to the side for now. Now here you have your little receiver. I usually drop my magazine first, but here we go. So that's done. It's on safe so that the hammer doesn't go flying forward. You can take it off safe, put your thumb there or your finger, and then uncock the hammer. Now one of the first things I like to do is spray some of the CLP into your trigger group. Let it sit there. Secondly, you're going to have to take your bolt and charging handle out. And then I spray some CLP down into the barrel and around this area in here. To clean the barrel, I'm going to use a brass brush, my rods, my handle, and my adapter out of the kit. Okay, now you've got your whole rod assembly completely assembled. Then you're going to run it into the barrel. After you run your bore brush through, you're going to want to use the jag. This thing, I'll show you how to use it. This is a good size cloth to use in your on your jag. So there we have it right here. And you run this down into the barrel. Now you're going to want to stop this right near the tip. See how you can see the tip of the jag and the cleaning cloth? And then all you do is you run it right back out. And you're going to need that to do that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Okay, as you can see, I've run the jag through here 8 times, and progressively it gets cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. You just take those and toss them. The next thing that I do is I go down the bore with the mop. This mop here is a little dirty, but that's okay. It's mainly oily, not really dirty. So then I'll coat this with some gun cleaner, and then I'll run this up and down the barrel. Now that pretty much takes care of the barrel. I don't know if you can see down there, but it's pretty darn clean. Clean enough to eat off of. You can see, should be able to see all that. Pretty darn clean. The next thing I do is I clean the areas inside here, in which where the bolt lives and slides back and forth in here. So this area gets really, really dirty as well. And this is where the Q-tips come in handy. It's getting up inside of this area. You can see how dirty it gets. Okay, so there is the inside here, and it's pretty clean, clean enough. Okay, so the next thing you want to clean is the bolt. This guy gets really dirty. In the end, it's going to end up looking like this. But as you can see, I went to the range and I shot a good couple hundred rounds through it. So it gets really, 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 really dirty. So let me show you how to do that. I usually just use an old t-shirt like this. I'll spray it down with some CLP. And underneath the bolt. And I'll also disassemble it further than the instructions say to. And to do that, you just pull down on this spring here. Let me show you a little closer. You're going to pull down on this spring, and then there's this rod. And this rod has a flat side on it. And then you're going to have to pull that forward by pushing the bolt back, just like so, and then it lifts out. So hold on to the spring, you pull forward, and then it just comes right out just like so, and slowly release the spring. The spring comes off, then the whole bolt assembly comes off of the slide. And this piece here is really simple to clean. You pull the guide rod out, and then you just clean this with a t-shirt. You don't have to clean the backside really, mainly the rails that the bolt slides on. Okay, the next thing is the bolt itself. Here's the firing pin in there, and I'm not going to take it down to the firing pin because you have to use a punch in order to get this roll pin out, and then this comes off, and then the the firing pin comes out, but I'm not going to break it down that far. Then I just lightly clean the outside of this. Now this is where Q-tips come in handy to get in this area down here in the bottom of the bolt. Okay, now that the bottom of the bolt is all clean, for this area here, where the bullet resides in the extractor pin, the extractor pin moves in, it pivots in and out. To get up inside there, I use the pick. This guy right here. You want to go around the edge. Okay, the next thing would be to clean this slot right here on both sides where the rails run, because this area gets really bad with grime and grit and unburnt powder. Now if you want to, you can take a little bit of oil and put it on your fingers and then rub it around here. It's not completely necessary to do so, but also you don't want to forget inside here, inside where the hammer hits the firing pin, and that's a good area to use a Q-tip on, as long as you don't leave any frays. Now to reassemble, I have the rails, I have my bolt, and you gotta make sure that this is on top and this is on top, and that slides together just like so. It's all really nice and smooth. You take your pen and your spring, you run the pin in through there. You're going to have to open it up a bit, put your spring on, and it goes just like this, and that's how that goes together. So the bolt is good, smooth, clean action there. Now for good measure, I always like to squirt a little bit of CLP into this area here. And I have it run down the rail here, and I do it on both sides.